Okay, y'all, I'm going to have to return to talking about Indy 5 again. I know for some of y'all, talking about movies or anything that's related to popular culture is stupid and pointless, and it's all bred in circuses, and we should talk about more important, pressing, serious things all the time. But I disagree. I mean, yes, there is truth to the bread and circuses notion. But of course, without bread, we can't eat. So, bread, in the larger sense of the term that it's supposed to encompass. And circuses, meaning entertainment. Well, entertainment is related to the arts, and art is something that is, has been a part of man for as long as man has walked the earth. So, art is one thing, of course, and the industry is something quite different. And anything that takes the industry down a peg or exposes the industry or makes the industry look like the evil and stupid thing that it is, I am enthusiastic about highlighting, and that's what makes me very. That was what drew me to all of the hype about "Don't Worry, Darling," the movie from a couple months ago now, I believe it was, and it's what's making me increasingly interested in Indy 5, or the fifth Indiana Jones movie, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. That's the title we've been given. We've got a preview, and it looks not so great. So what can be said? What more can we say about this ongoing saga? Well, in case you hadn't already heard, it's taken a couple of twists and turns. There were all of these insiders, or supposed insiders, who were claiming that they had shown test screenings with 5 or 6 different endings, and that the audience hated all of them. But that the one that tested the best had a 35% favorability score. Of course, these were just what these people who were claiming to be insiders were claiming. And the more explosive claim that they were making was that this movie intended to basically erase the character, the iconic masculine macho character of Indiana Jones, and replace him with a strong, powerful woman who don't need no man, in Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who plays his goddaughter and his sidekick in this movie, but who apparently has all this sort of haughty kind of personality, and is very disrespectful to him all the way through, and thinks that he's a relic of toxic masculinity and all this kind of stuff that they're saying that we were hearing about. But of course, the worst thing is that was the rumor that at the end of the movie, supposedly they go back in time. Time travel is already. Do we need time travel in Indiana Jones? And don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of the original Indiana Jones trilogy. It was a part of my childhood. It fired my childhood imagination almost as much as Star Wars did. I'm aware that it's flawed. I'm sure if I watched it now, it wouldn't. I wouldn't be as. It wouldn't experience it with such untrammeled bliss as I experienced it with when I was 10, 12, and I think 15. It was I think when the 3 movies came out, or 17. The last movie was I think in 88 or 89. But the 3 movies that make up the original trilogy, they fit together as a unit. And the final one, Indiana Jones and the Holy Grail, at the end of that one, we have Indy and his father, and I think Sala, riding off into the sunset on their horses. And it's a perfect ending. It should have ended there. But then, sometime in the aughts, was it 2007, 2008, they decided to bring Indy back. And it was, of course, basically a cash grab sort of thing. And they decided to bring aliens into the Indiana Jones world, which didn't really work. And now, it was iffy enough to have Indiana Jones be brought back when he's in his mid-60s. But now the actor playing Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford, is, I believe, 80 or right on the cusp of 80. Not really an action hero mode when you're 80 years old. Nothing against older people. I'm not saying that they can't be active and have fun lives and so forth, but you're not going to be running around, you're getting dragged behind a truck and doing doing all of the sort of things that Indiana Jones does, all of the stunts that he does. You're not going to be doing that at age 80, no matter who you are, no matter how fit you are at that age. So this entire idea of having another Indiana Jones movie is really already very questionable. Spielberg has nothing to do with it. Lucas has nothing to do with it. So all of the principals except Harrison Ford, and the guy who played Sala, his sidekick in the first movie, and also showed up in the third movie. Only those two guys are back, I believe, from the original cast. Maybe maybe Karen Allen shows up. It's not clear. In any case, here's what we had going on. There were these persistent rumors that they were going to erase Indiana Jones, and in deference to woke ideology, and have him replaced by this strong and capable woman. And the worst of it was that at least according to the rumor, one of the screenings, and the one that supposedly Catherine Kennedy wanted the most. Again, this is all just rumor, speculation, from my point of view, because I don't know, and it's what these insiders were saying. But the version that she wanted is one in which old Indy and his goddaughter Phoebe Waller-Bridge, the character played by the actress Phoebe Waller-Bridge, go back in time to the 30s. Young Indy sacrifices himself for them, and then old Indy fades away. So Indiana Jones ceases to exist even before he ever had any of the adventures that he had in the first three movies. And then we see her in the end doing all the stuff that he did, running away from the boulder in the first movie. I guess encountering the Sankara stone, the Sankara stones, and the missing children in the second movie. Whatever, all the adventures that Indy had are now going to be this woman's adventures. So Indiana Jones is just going to be erased from history. I mean, from the canon, from canonical history. And she's going to replace him. It'll be as if Indiana Jones had never existed. Which, I don't know anyone for whom that sounds like a good idea. I don't care. Like, even if you're a flaming liberal feminist, do you, does that sound good to you? Maybe it does. I don't know. Maybe you think Indiana Jones is just an example of toxic masculinity that needs to be erased, needs to be wiped out, and that's doing the right thing to have this movie that totally retcons his entire life and takes him out from an early age and has him replaced by a woman who's much more capable and much more powerful and much more better in every way than he could ever be, just the way women always are. I could see certain ideologues thinking, yeah, that sounds neat. Certain very radical, very extreme ideologues, but everybody else, anybody who enjoyed Indiana Jones, anybody who enjoyed the character of Indiana Jones, I just don't see that type of ending working. I just see that flopping so hard, and I see the anger that it will arouse being so extreme. They might set Lucasfilm on fire. They might be rioting outside of Disney, for that, for doing a hatchet job like that to this iconic cinematic character. Now, it's not, as I pointed out before, it's not totally. It's not like it's totally unprecedented. In the Terminator movie franchise, the last Terminator film, Terminator Dark Fate, has a situation where they retcon the character of John Connor by having him be killed as a boy. Now he's the one who grows up and saves humanity after the machines rise up and he's the leader of the human resistance. But then in this final movie that they made, that was a huge flop. He's killed off, and he's replaced by some Mexican girl. I mean, they actually did that. Now, Terminator's not this. I don't think it's of the same stature as Indiana Jones. The first two movies were huge, but after that, I don't think it's it kind of declined as far as being a staple of popular culture. Plus, John Connor wasn't the focal point of the Terminator movies. The focal point was always Sarah Connor, his mother, and the Terminator himself, Arnold. But this would be the first time that they actually had the fixture, the character who is beloved, and the character who the movies are named after, and then they would go back and just make it that he never existed. A part of me just thinks do it, like sort of, you guys just want to make you want to set everything on fire. You just want to let it all burn. You want to kill the past, like Kylo Ren said in Last Jedi. I mean, I do it and see, and just see what happens. All right. Part of me is actually rubbing my hands together at the thought. Of course, another part of me is really grieved and really horrified and really offended beyond measure that they would take such a beloved character who means so much to so many people and just wipe him out. Now, again, that was the rumor, and the director of the new movie, James Mangold, came out a couple of times and kind of snarkily and pissily, responded to what he called the trolls, who were saying these things and said it's not true. Indiana Jones is not going to be replaced. There haven't even been any test screenings. So he was denying everything. And that gave people pause, because it was like, all right, if the director is going to come out and flatly deny these things, and then the movie comes out and it's exactly what the rumors had been, what the people who had been talking or spreading the rumors had been saying, if that turns out to be true, he's got egg on his face. He loses all credibility, and the shit show just goes just ascends even further, goes to the nth degree, and so he's denying that there were ever any test screenings, which seems odd. I mean, I don't really know how these things work, but I do know test screenings are a staple of Hollywood films, and it's also well known that that the shooting was wrapped nearly a year ago. 10 months ago, they came to an end. The shooting came to an end, so there was no more principal filming of footage. But now, the newest wrinkle, what's come out in the last couple of days, is that John Williams, the composer for Indiana Jones, and also the composer for Star Wars and for a ton of other movies of that time period, things directed by Lucas or Spielberg or others. He was their go-to guy, and he's really, really old, but he's still kicking. And he actually spilled the beans. He said at a concert that people had attended, he spoke to the audience about and said, "It looks like we're going to go back and film another ending, and I'm going to have to do another score for another ending." And he said this like 2 or 3 days ago. I think it was on. Well, today's the 16th. I believe this was on the 13th or the 14th that he was captured making this claim. So now everything is like, well, now wait a minute. You denied that there was that there were 5 or 6 different endings. You denied that there were test screenings, Mr. Mangold, and now there's talk about another ending. What is it? Well, and the movie finished filming in early 2022. It was supposed to come out in summer of 2022, but they pushed it a full year ahead. What are they waiting for? Why is it just in stasis like this? Why has it been in stasis for so long? What more needs to be done? And so it does seem more and more likely that there has been wrangling over the ending, over how this movie ends. If it's true that they're going to film a whole nother ending, and that John Williams is going to be tasked with scoring a whole nother ending, then now people are thinking, well, the outcry against this wiping Indiana Jones out of history and replacing him with Phoebe Waller-Bridge as the new and improved female Indiana Jones. Although, what is a woman, right? But anyway, that aside, this seems to give fuel to the notion that all along, the so-called trolls, the people who claim to be insiders, who claim to know these things about what was going on, that they were right, and now they're scrambling to change the ending to something that is more acceptable, because people are just so pissed off about the idea of Indiana Jones being absolutely wiped out of history. Which it just, I still have a really hard time believing that was ever something that they were going to do. But then again, who knows? We live in a time of extreme ideology. The ideologists, the ideologues, have taken over the institutions, and they are, feeding us their slop. They don't want to give us the end. They think it's good for us to give us things that we don't want, right? They want to subvert expectations because they know better than we do. That's what they think. So in a way, I can sort of see them thinking, yeah, wow, this would be a really just nut crushing kind of ending if we got rid of the toxic male with his fedora hat and his bullwhip totally, and gave them over to the woman, and let her be the new Indiana Jones. Ha ha ha. But now maybe they're seeing, that's really not going to be the best idea. Or maybe someone from upper management is saying, no, let's not go with that. Anyway, it's very entertaining to observe the shit show that it is. And we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching.